Luna was 24, with dark hair that fell in tangled waves past her shoulders and eyes that conveyed a gentle, unspoken despair. She grew up in a small town where everyone knew your name and what you did, where secrets were valuable, and gossip was the law. Her parents were the type of people who smiled at their neighbors but locked their doors against their own daughters' inquiries. Luna had learned from an early age to keep her thoughts to herself, swallowing her dreams as harsh medication. But dreams, she discovered, have a way of clawing their way back up. She'd met Ethan 2 years before, at a country fair where the air smelled of fried dough and sorrow. He was older, with a crooked smile and a voice that could seduce even the stars in the sky. He'd been passing through, a vagabond with a guitar and a narrative for every cut on his knuckles. Luna was working at the ticket booth, her life a repetitive loop of small-town days, when he leaned against the counter and remarked, "You look like someone with a story to tell." She laughed since she had never heard that before. Nobody had ever seen her. They'd spent the summer entwined in each other, sneaking moments in the back of his beat-up truck and whispering promises beneath the sky. Ethan had a way of making her feel alive, as if she were more than the sum of her quiet moments. He mentioned leaving, following a life beyond the town's borders, and Luna, for the first time, thought she could follow. But promises are delicate, and Ethan's were no different. By autumn, he had vanished, leaving behind a note that said, "I am not the staying sort, Luna. You deserve better." Then weeks later, 2 pink lines appeared on a pregnancy test. Luna hadn't informed anyone. Not her parents, who had ago stopped inquiring about her life. Not her friends, who had drifted away after she stopped showing up at the diner or the pub. She'd kept the secret to herself, through morning sickness and restless nights, and the rumors that followed her as her clothes tightened. Naturally, the town had its own version of her narrative. They always have. "Poor Luna," they would remark, shaking their heads. "Got herself into trouble. Should have known better." But Luna was unconcerned about their pity. She was concerned about the life growing inside her, the small heartbeat that felt like her only anchor. She had relocated to the cabin 6 months before, when the stairs got too much. Her grandmother's old home had been abandoned for years. The roof leaked, the walls creaked, and the loneliness was oppressive, yet it was hers. She had repaired it as best she could, repairing holes with duct tape and bringing water from the creek when the pipes froze. She took odd jobs, cleaning houses, mending clothes, anything that kept her out of sight. The baby was her secret, burden, and hope. She'd already given her the name Lily in quiet moments when the world felt silent. A name that seemed smooth and promising of something better. But secrets, like dreams, have a way of getting out. It happened on a Tuesday, when the rain was relentless and the cabin seemed smaller than ever. Sheila, the village librarian and one of the few individuals who had ever been friendly to Luna, had swung by with a bag of groceries. Sheila was in her 50s, with graying hair and a voice that could calm the storm. She had known Luna since she was a child, sneaking inside the library to avoid her parents' conflicts. Sheila never asked questions or pried, but her eyes saw everything. "Luna, you can't keep doing this alone," Sheila replied, placing the goods on the rickety table. Her eyes lingered on Luna's belly, and the way her hands hovered protectively above it. "You need support. You need people." Luna shook her head, her throat tightening. "I am fine, Sheila. I've got it covered." But Sheila was not to be underestimated. She sat down, her hands clasped, and stared at Luna with such determination that she wanted to cry. "You aren't fine. You are afraid. You don't have to be." The words shattered something in Luna. Perhaps the weight of the secret, or the loneliness, had crept into her bones. Perhaps it was the way Sheila regarded her, as if she were worth preserving. Whatever it was, the truth spilled out. Ethan, the pregnancy, and her fear of failing this child before it had a chance. Sheila listened, her expression impassive, and when Luna concluded, she offered no platitudes or sympathy. She proposed a plan. "We're going to get you through this," Sheila added. "You and the baby. You are not alone, Luna. Not anymore." Sheila summoned in Will, the town's only doctor, a gruff man with a kind heart who had delivered half of the county's births. Will didn't ask any questions, simply showed up with a medical bag and a quiet certainty that made Luna feel, for the first time in months, like she may make it through this. He checked her vital signs, inquired about her food, and promised to be present when the time came. "You're strong, Luna," he said. "Stronger than you know." Luna discovered that strength was a fleeting thing. Some days it got her through chopping wood, hauling water, and telling Lily about the future they'd create together. Other days it abandoned her, leaving her curled up on the sagging couch, her hands shaking as she remembered Ethan and the life she had dreamed with him. She didn't truly love him anymore, but she lamented the version of herself that believed in him, the girl who felt love might change her life. Naturally, the town learned. Secrets do not remain buried in places like that. It began with a rumor, a neighbor noticing Sheila's car at the cabin too frequently, and Will's truck parked in front. By the time Luna arrived in town for supplies, the looks had transformed into whispers, and the murmurs into questions. "Is it true?" they'd inquire, their voices full with interest. "Is Luna pregnant? Who is the father?" She ignored them and kept her head down, but their judgment followed her home. Sheila and Will were her lifeline. Sheila sent books for both Luna and Lily, including children's stories about brave females in strange locations. Will provided supplies and taught Luna how to monitor her health and prepare for delivery. They didn't ask or expect thanks. They simply showed up day after day, their presence a silent protest against the town's talk. However, Luna could not shake the feeling of loneliness. She'd lie awake at night, listening to the rain and imagining what type of mother she'd be. Luna's own mother had been distant, her affection conditioned on standards she could never obey. She did not want that for Lily. She wanted her daughter to know she was enough, that she was loved unconditionally. But doubt was a nasty friend, suggesting that she would fail, that she was insufficient. The breaking point occurred in the 8th month, when the rain turned to ice and the cabin's heater failed. Luna awoke with a shiver that permeated her bones, her breath apparent in the dim light. She attempted to light a fire, but the wood was moist, and her hands shook too much to strike a match. She sat on the floor, wrapped in a blanket, crying uncontrollably. She was so tired of handling everything alone. She didn't hear Sheila's car pull up or the door squeak open, but she felt Sheila's arms around her, strong and sturdy, drawing her closer. "You're not doing this alone," Sheila added again, her voice harsh. "Do you hear me? You are not." Will arrived an hour later, with his truck loaded with firewood and a portable heater. They stayed all night, 3 of them snuggled around the fire, talking about everything and nothing. Sheila told anecdotes of her own youth, the mistakes she made and overcame. Will talked about his grown-up daughter and how much he misses her. Luna listened, her heart sad but not empty, and knew that this quiet, messy connection was exactly what she'd been looking for all along. Labor came early and unexpectedly. The pain hit Luna like a tsunami, dragging her down. Sheila was there, holding her hand and guiding her through the contractions. Will remained calm, his hands firm as he prepped the cabin for delivery. The storm raged outside, but the indoors felt warm and cozy. Luna shouted, cursed, and pleaded for it to stop, but Sheila's words provided a lifeline, pulling her back. "You are doing this, Luna. You are bringing her into the world." Lily was born at dawn, her cries breaking the silence. She was petite, smaller than Luna had anticipated, but perfect, with tiny fists and a shock of dark hair. Luna embraced her, tears flowing down her cheeks, and felt something shift within her. A powerful love that terrified her. Sheila and Will stood back, their grins gentle and their eyes filled with something Luna couldn't identify. Obviously the town was startled. Not by the birth, babies were born every day, but by Luna's fortitude, the way she'd forged a life in the face of their condemnation. The whispers became softer, tinged with something like reverence. Luna didn't care. She had Lily, Sheila, and Will, but for the first time she also had herself. The cabin was still cold and leaking, but it felt like home. Luna would sit by the window with Lily in her arms and tell her stories, not of princes or castles, but of women who persevered and created something out of nothing. Sheila would pay a visit, bearing books and coffee, and her laughing filled the room. Will would pop over, his rough voice softening as he checked on Lily and showed Luna how to care for her. Life was not easy. Money was limited, and the future seemed uncertain. But Luna was no longer alone. She had discovered her people, her family, in the most unlikely of places. And when she gazed at Lily, who was resting blissfully in her arms, she knew she would go through it all again, the pain, the anxiety, the loneliness, if it meant giving her daughter a better life. The rain continued to fall, but Luna did not mind. It was only water after all. And she'd learned to deal with storms,